This is the AKASO V50X action camera. Shoots 4K, 30 frames per second, and it is the first sub $100, £100 action camera that's actually really impressed me. I'm going to do a quick review of this camera. I'm going to run through its various features. I'm going to show you sample footage. I'm going to show you it being used in a real life situation to stitch together, you know, how it looks all stitched together, to make a little story, to make a running video like what I normally make. But yeah, I have been very impressed with this camera, so let's get into the review. This is the AKASO V50X action camera. There it is. It's actually quite small. It's smaller than a GoPro, but this thing shoots 4K up to 30 frames per second. It shoots slow-mo up to 120 frames per second at 720p. Oh, it has a little tripod mount on the bottom. GoPros don't even have that. It's got stabilization built in. It shoots photographs with manual controls. It has time-lapse built into it. It has an app that you can Wi-Fi control it with. It's got actually a really easy to use touchscreen, and unlike some cheaper cameras that I've reviewed, the touchscreen is actually responsive, which is great for a change. And it comes with a waterproof case. I'll show you what else is in the box here. This is the box. One of the big advantages with non-GoPro action cameras is that they actually come with accessories instead of charging you, several £1,000s for a battery. The GoPro don't actually charge you several £1,000s for a battery, but it's excessively expensive, I think. We've got mounts, we've got straps. There is our little remote control, so if you don't want to use the app, you can use this. It's like infrared. You can take photographs of your video with that. More mounts, lens wipes, sticky pads. More mounts for bicycles, charging cable, a different door for the waterproof cover. This one will just lets in audio, so that will just act as a protector. Straps, more mounts. It comes with 2 batteries, so there's 1 battery in it and you get a spare. With GoPro, they charge you an extra like 15-20 quid for a spare battery, so that's good. And this is also very useful. It comes with a separate charger, so you're not trying to charge 2 batteries at once in the camera, or GoPro spending, what is it? What a GoPro charge? It's like, I think it's like 40 quid for their charger to charge 2 batteries at the same time. Come on. It is nice to see GoPro finally getting a bit of competition from these cheaper brands, though, because it means they're going to have to up their game with regards to what accessories they offer. But this isn't about GoPro, this is about this little camera. So what I want to do is I'm going to run through a series of tests that I've made, and then I'll tell you what I think, and then at the very end it's going to be this short real life usage video of a running video, just showing the camera in action. So let's get into the tests. Alright, okay, the very first test is what I call I've got the video on my phone here, the test is what I would call the ideal situation for an action camera. We've got sort of sunset light in the evening, and there's not too much wind, so you'll get to hear what the sound is like, as well as seeing what it looks like sort of under optimal conditions. Here's the shot. And here is a good weather test. I've had so little chances to get out with this camera when it's actually sunny, and action cameras really don't look their best unless you've got good sunlight, so I'm up here looking at the sunset. Just thought I'd get the camera out and let you see what that would look like. Okay, so the next test is the stabilization test, because GoPro have pretty much paved the way for really well stabilized cameras. So I'm going to show you shooting 4K 30 with stabilization and without stabilization, pointing it forward and pointing it back. This is 4K 30 and just walking forward. Stabilization is off. So compare the two. Are they smooth? I don't know. I'll check. This is 4K 30 and stabilization is on. Just walking forward, not really making any efforts to dampen my footsteps. Just walking along, stabilization is on, so you can see how that looks. I I was pretty impressed with that. I actually think the stabilization on this camera, bearing in mind costs £100, less than £100, is very similar to what the stabilization was like on the GoPro Hero 6. Our GoPro had really just been starting to get into that digital stabilization. So I was impressed. While walking, the stabilization worked pretty well. So slow motion, so of course I'm going to go for the slowest of the slow motions, which is the 720 at 120 frames per second. So this is what you can do with that. I mean, that is not bad. You can see the drop in quality there, but still, that is totally usable slow-mo. Okay, next test is time-lapse test. Action cameras are brilliant for time-lapse. You just set them up, push the button, off it goes. I had this camera out on a shoot. We were up near sunset. There's a lot of clouds going overhead, so I set up the camera to run a time-lapse, and here are the results I got. Again, that is pretty good. Right, photographs now. What it's like with still photographs. Now, it doesn't shoot raw images, it shoots JPEGs, but there are some manual controls in here. So I just want to show you a couple of before and afters. So the before is the shot directly out of the camera, and then after, that's after I processed it with Lightroom. Again, that's not half bad. And here's the second one. This is what I like out of the camera, and then after. That's just using Adobe Lightroom on my phone. You can use other apps, but just to show you what you can do with the photographs out of this. Next test then is just to show you, they have a little zoom feature where you can change the focal length. So I'm just demoing how that works. It works, you know, it kind of works okay. Yes, you do lose quality as you zoom in, of course you do, but you know, if you really needed to zoom in, it kind of does the job. Right, now my last test before I move on to the actual real life test is what I call the vlog test. It's this setup. What does this look like through that camera? So here it is, letting you hear the audio and see what the image quality is like indoors in not the world's brightest lighting. I've got the camera sitting on a tripod, stabilization's off, so you're getting a slightly wider view. But really this is to let you know, or let you see what it sounds like. See what it sounds like, hear what it sounds like in a more controlled environment. You can get the audio is not going to be amazing in here. It's a bit of an echoey room. And let you see what it looks like with a quality light up. Before we go on to the real life test, I'll just tell you my thoughts so far. Here's the good about this camera. It's got decent video quality. In fact, in some situations, I would say it's good, possibly borderline great, depending on your expectations. Video quality, certainly it's got some of the best video quality at that price range, I found anyway. The stabilization is not half bad. It's actually better than the stabilization on another action camera I got sent that cost twice as much. I'm not going to tell you who sent me it because they might be a bit annoyed. The audio is actually okay. It's quite decent. You can hear what I'm saying, and that's an important thing. Time-lapse works brilliantly. There was really good definition and color in that. I was really impressed with the time-lapse. You've got those massive range of accessories. You've got the 2 batteries. It comes with a dive case. You've got the easy to use touchscreen. The tripod mount is built in, which is very nice, and that really cheap price. So bear that in mind before I come to the negative things, that this is a sub £100 action camera. It's not a £400, £350 GoPro. It's 3 times cheaper than a GoPro. So here what I saw as the bad, trying to judge it in its own place. So stabilization is a bit jerky when you're running or if you make sudden movements. And again, it is probably comparative to the GoPro Hero 5 and 6 when GoPro had just started to figure out how to do that electronic image stabilization. It's not waterproof without a case. It did make me slightly more cautious when I was out running with it because I was just conscious if it rains, this will die. And if you put it inside the case, yes, you can put the back, yes, you can put this door on the back, which will let in audio, but it's not going to sound as good as the camera without a case. You can't plug in an external mic, at least I'm pretty sure you can't. There's no input anyway. And then the video quality is probably, you know, lower in low light than a GoPro. But again, that's not what it's designed for. It's designed for being used outdoors. I mean, these are all nitpicks considering price. So now I'm going to show you a real world test. This is just a short 2-minute running video. These are similar to what I make all the time on this channel, just to show you it being used and show you how you can use it to tell a story. And then that'll be me done.
Filming in 4K, 30 frames a second, with the stabilization on. A little bit of wind, so you'll get to see what the audio is like in wind. Stabilization off. So I should be very shaky now. Okay, I'm gonna speed this footage up, see what it looks like. Now this is smaller than the GoPro. The question is, can I hold this with my mouth? Let's try it by running down some steps. Right, in the mouth. Well, that seemed to work quite well. Oh, it's got teeth marks on it now.
So yeah, this is totally usable to make some kind of story, to make a vlog. It really does work. Yes, the image quality, yes, and stabilization is not as good as a GoPro, but it is good enough. And that's what matters if you're starting off, or that you're not really serious into it, or you just want to get like a crash cam that you can have handy. So yeah, Akaso V50X, I'm impressed. I would recommend this if you're wanting the first action camera and don't want to buy a GoPro. No, stop eating me.